Hey, I wanted to see if anybody was up at midnight, quarter after 12. I see people going on TikTok and doing lives at night and on Facebook and all that. And I wanted to see if anybody was out there listening at 12:13 in the morning. So if you are, pop in and say hi. Let's see if anybody shows up. Tomorrow I'm doing a live webinar for my new platform, Wholesaling Partners, and messing around with StreamYard, who I broadcast on. And I want to get everything just right. So when I do the webinar, it goes over well. Come on. I know some of you are out there. There's people on the on Wholesaling Partners right now. See if my stream's going anywhere. All right. Well, I guess none of you are out there, so I'm going to wrap it up. But hopefully, you guys, what's this going on here? Hopefully, you guys show up tomorrow. I think at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock for the Wholesaling Partners onboarding webinar. So, oh, hey, Raul, how you doing, man? On YouTube, it looks like. So there is one person up at quarter after 12 in the morning watching my reel. How you doing, man? Are you in wholesaling? You are good. I am good too, man. Yeah. So if anyway, if Raul, if you're in wholesaling, uh, go to my website and I'll drop the link here if you can see it. It's my wholesaling partner, my.wholesalingpartners.com. Right there. I'm going to put it in the chat. And if you go there, go to my.wholesalingpartners.com, sign up. It's free. It's an online community. And what I'm doing, I'm trying to connect people in the industry, wholesalers, getting them to partner up with other wholesalers so they can get into the business easier. Right. So you want to get back into it. I don't know if you've done it, if you've closed deals before or not, but maybe you could team up with another person in California and and wholesale together, partner up on some deals, or you go out and find some deals and find somebody to dispo or whatever. But I find a big problem with people getting started in the business or being consistent in the business is they try to do it alone and they don't have partners. So I'm trying to resolve that. How you doing, Jared, in South Carolina? South Carolina, I just did an interview with Ben Loverow. He's in South Carolina, and he's does a lot of wholesale. When the hedge funds were going, he was working with the hedge funds a lot. Now he's still wholesaling and doing some fix and flip stuff. But Jared, if you want to connect with him, go on my wholesaling partners and connect with Ben Loverow, and he's looking for JV partners in South Carolina. So, I'm in Ohio and California, but haven't done a deal since 2019. Yeah, it's, some people, they get out of it, right? They get out of it and then they get back into it. Or some people, they try to get into it, never get there, and then they leave and they come back and stuff. So it's a good biz, right? It's a good business and you can make some money. And a lot of people, it's a good stepping stone to get into, to buy and holds or fix and flips or whatever. Cool, Jared. That's cool, man. Yeah, he's a great guy. Like I said, he's there in South Carolina. I mean, like he'll do anything in the entire state. So connect with him, and he's ready to do deals, man. So go to that link. Let me see. See if I can grab like the whole URL and drop it in the chat there for you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, it won't hyperlink for some reason in the chat. So you guys will just have to type it in, but it's my.wholesalingpartners.com is where what you want to go. I have the domain, wholesalingpartners.com. But I have to finish that. It's like I call it a sales page, although I'm not charging for wholesaling partners, but the sales. Okay, good. There's a link now. So yeah, just click on that link and sign up. It's free to join. There's no upsell or anything like that. It's just, hop on there and partner up. So what I have on there, there's a post. There's a section that's called partner interviews, and in that, there's a tagged post from me explaining the partner interviews, but there's a calendar link in there. So you can, if you join the community and you sign up for a partner interview, we get on a call and just do a side by side video call like this. And I just interview you for like 5 or 10 minutes and just say, hey, tell me about your background, tell me where you're at, what kind of partners are you looking for? Are you looking for, people to bring you deals? And because you've got a big cash buyers list and you can move deals for people and help dispo them, or, do you want to bring deals to somebody and you're good at marketing and you can go out and find stuff. So you can tell me on the interview, you can tell me what kind of partner you're looking for. We record the interview and then we put it in that library, right? So it's in the library and people can go in and search it by hashtag. They can go in there and put hashtag South Carolina, click on hashtag South Carolina, and it brings up all the people in South Carolina that will want to partner. The community also has state groups, so you can go in the state group and do same thing. Excuse me. You can go. I'm trying to talk quiet because my wife and my son are sleeping, and it's making me get phlegm in my throat. But you can go into the state group and do the same thing. I'm gonna show everybody how to do this on the onboarding call tomorrow. But in the state group, you can go in and create an ad just like that and say, hey, I'm looking for a partner in California, in Southern California, in LA, or wherever you're at, and put a post, put hashtag Los Angeles, hashtag California, or however however you want to identify where you're at. And then you can do a partner up ad. You can do an under contract, hashtag under contract if you've got a deal you're trying to move, or hashtag buy box if you're looking for people to bring you deals if you're an investor or whatever. So, um, yeah, Raw, I'm glad you found me too. So, yeah, I've been doing this. I've got a website, the Wholesalers Toolbox, which you're probably following my channel. That's why you're seeing this right now. But I've had the Wholesalers Toolbox since like December 2014. So and on that, I give away contracts, and I have like a free wholesaling course, and I've done a lot of different things over the years. I promote some products like Deal Machine and PropStream and stuff. But for the past 10 years, I just keep giving away contracts and keep promoting stuff. But the problem that I see is, so many people, fail to launch, I guess we'll call it, or get analysis paralysis or freeze up, or whatever term you want to use. Um, and the way around that is really, just partnering up with somebody, partner up to learn it, right? To say, hey, I remember when I first started to get into it, I heard about it wholesaling, and I had a lot of real estate experience, but I was driving down the road and I saw, like a bandit sign, like the We Buy Houses. And I figured it was a wholesaler, right? I thought, that's probably a wholesaler hang that up there. So I called the number and he answered, this guy, Ed. And I said, hey, man, I said, I saw your sign. I said, are curious, are you wholesaling real estate? And he said, yeah, I'm a wholesaler. And I said, I'm thinking about getting into the business. Do you mind, meeting me for lunch one day? And, going and have some lunch and just talking. And he said, like, no, no, absolutely not. So we met up, and we ended up partnering up on some deals, and driving for dollars and all that stuff. And even though I had a lot of real estate background and knowledge, it made it easier that I did it with somebody, that I got started with somebody, right? So when I would go out and look at a house, we would go together, we would drive to dollars together, we do a lot of stuff together. So but I think that's what's missing with a lot of people. All the coaches out there and the course creators and all that, they talk to people about, buying stuff, right? That, buy my course, I'll teach you how to do it in my course and all that stuff. But what all those courses miss is action, implementation, partnering up with somebody, right? Because if you try to do it by yourself, you go out and you're like, you start getting in your head, right? It's like when you start a diet, and you're all gung ho about it, and then 3 days in, you're like, I'm probably just going to quit this thing anyway. Who am I kidding? I haven't made it to the gym yet. I haven't done whatever. And it's the same way in wholesaling. You start thinking, maybe maybe my spouse is right. Maybe excuse me. Maybe maybe I'm not cut out to do this. I don't have the experience or the knowledge or whatever, to do this. And if you have a partner, right, somebody like accountability, somebody you're working with, it just makes it so much easier, because they're there to encourage you, and you're there to encourage them. So then you go out and you market together, you make cold calls together, or you drive for dollars together, or you hang bandit signs together, or you do what, lick envelopes, or whatever you're doing. And then when people start to call you, um you can be there, when, you can even put the person on speaker when you call them back, and you're both there together. Set up appointment to go look at the house, you go to the house together, right? And there's safety in numbers, so when you're doing it with somebody, it's so much easier. So that's what the courses and all that stuff kind of miss, right? They're just, because they just, I won't say, course creators don't want you to succeed, but they certainly want you to buy another course, right? And they're always coming out with the next thing and the next thing. And so with wholesaling partners, I'm trying to create an environment where people can team up and they can get out and get things done, right? So um, looks like I got a few people on here, 5 people on here. So say hi if you're around here listening, and tell me where you're at. I wanted to see if there was any late night wholesalers out there, because I'm a night owl and I like other night owls. Uh, so anyway, that's what I'm trying to accomplish with the community, and it's going well. I did. I mentioned. Yeah, they are. Yeah, of course, they are streams of income. Um, I mentioned Ben Lovero in South Carolina, but I did one of the partner interviews with him a couple days ago, and and I posted in there, posted in the community, and I already got quite a few people commenting on it and reaching out to Ben to partner up with him. I did I've done four of them now, and I've got I think another four or five or six scheduled this week. On the calendar, they're just booking themselves. So, um, but it's exciting, right? So I think, we get this going, and after, a few months, I'm going to have a big library of just short videos of people all over the country where you can go in and team up and look for people. So, yeah, route courses are, I've been to conventions or meetups or whatever with real estate coaches where they all get together and they go hang out in a conference room for a couple days, and it's a good time. But they sit around and talk about marketing and like how can we, what new products can we create, how do we present them, how do we sell them, how do we market them, and all that stuff. And it's a business in itself, and not, again, I'm not saying that they don't have good knowledge to share, but in my opinion, a lot of them charge, maybe too much for the knowledge, right? They're expensive. um and all the information's out there, right, on YouTube, and wherever you want to look for it, on websites and stuff. And but the value of the course is, do they get it right? Do they give you all the information you need to know to do that thing right? If you buy a course on probate or sheriff sales or tax, liens, or whatever the thing is, do they package it together, and do they get you the information you need to go out and make money at it quickly with confidence, right? So that's where the value in a course is, in my opinion, right? Because again, all the information is out there if you want to search for it, right? And now with Chat GPT, you could really almost write your own course, just by asking it the right questions, giving it the right prompts. So who we got out there? Anybody besides Raul out there listening? And Jared? I see five people watching, but three of you are being quiet. If anybody's on Facebook. I don't even know where I'm streaming to. I know I'm streaming to YouTube and Twitter, I believe. Maybe that's where everybody else is, on Twitter or something. So if anybody's out there got any questions or anything. I think I'm streaming on Instagram as well. You guys ever watch the TikTok lives at night, late at night like this? It's kind of weird. You get on there and see people from all over doing the world doing some weird stuff. Um, Raul, I started wholesaling in Detroit, and now I'm originally from Michigan and Detroit, and now I am down in Tampa Bay area, Florida. I'm in St. Petersburg. I have never wholesaled anything in California. I used to have buyers in California that were buying in Detroit, but I don't, I haven't done anything in California. Jared, do I do any direct mail? Not a lot. I do very, if I do mail, it's uh, very limited to vacant property owners. I've always been, and everybody's got their own thing. So I'm not saying direct mail is bad by any means, but my thing was always driving for dollars. Right? It's how I got started. To me, it was the best method for me. Um, in my scenario, my situation, I didn't want to sit behind a desk and I didn't want to make calls and I didn't want to do that. I'd done that for years in corporate America and stuff. And so I just wanted to get in the car and drive and go out and get a coffee and just drive up and down streets and look for vacant houses. And then I would stop when I found them and put a note on the door. I had an envelope with a letter in it that said, "Hey, I'm a local investor. I want to buy your house." And I would stick it on the front door with like blue painter's tape right up on the door. And I wouldn't skip trace them. I wouldn't call them. I wouldn't send mail. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just put notes on doors all day long, every day. And man, after just when I started, just after a few days of doing it, the phone started to ring, and I just kept doing it hard. I did a couple times try direct mail after I started closing deals because again, I was looking for vacant property. So I thought, man, I'll just get everybody way back then was talking about just absentee owner lists. And I'm like, I'll get an absentee owner list and I'll mail to it. And, then I won't have to drive for dollars anymore. I can just, I could just drop mail and get deals and boom. And so I spent, I don't know, 2 or 3 grand on direct mail and drop the mail. And I thought, okay, it's going to take probably 3 or 4 days to drop. And so I just knew my phone was going to blow up, and I waited and I waited, and finally, I think day 4, day 5, I got a couple calls, and they were I got calls from people that were just mad because I mailed them, which was weird, and then I got a couple calls from people that had full price houses, but I got zip off of it, and that kind of discouraged me from doing direct mail. I didn't want to keep dropping the money into it, right? And I realized, my list wasn't great, right? Because it was just absentee owner, and that, that's not a good criteria by itself. I mean, you have to have more than that, right? Absentee owner, 3 years delinquent on taxes would be a great list, or probate or things like that. But you do that once, right? You drop a lot of money and you get zero results, and it kind of discourages you from going back in that direction. So I just went back to driving for dollars, and then then I would have people do it for me, or my kids do it for me, or whatever. But that was my thing. But I mean, like I said, a lot of people make money with direct mail, so I'm not against it. It just hasn't been my thing. So my my phone's or something's beeping, making funny noises in my ear. I think it's the community thing. Maybe one of you guys just joined. Do Jared? Is that how you do your stuff? Do you do direct mail? And Raul, if you're still on here, how did you find your deals when you were wholesaling? I know a lot of people are big on phone, on cold calling. Um, I've done some YouTube videos on breaking it down and how many calls you cold call, Jared, how many cold calls you have to make, and how much mail you have to send out, how much driving for dollars you have to do, and kind of like weigh them all. But cold calling's it's good if you're working on a good list, right? If you're just if the list is not that great, you're not going to get great results. Uh, Best choices to get right now for lead. Okay, for new people, I still suggest driving for dollars. For cold calling, Um, I would just, it's all about list stacking, right? With anything, the best choices for leads, it's stacking, right? It's, if you can, um, like real strong motivators. Um, I like probate. I like, tax delinquent, like 3 years tax delinquent. I like, low water usage or water shut off, um, list stacked with vacant, stacked, tax delinquent. I mean, that would be just an amazing list, right? Tax delinquent properties that have low or no water usage, so they're empty, right? That would be an awesome list to track down. You had somebody call a list of vacant house lists. Yeah, they're a good list. That's I think one of the reasons I focused on vacant because one I noticed when I was doing the driving for dollars, of course I was getting deals from that, and I thought, okay, these are the best motivator. But as I did them, there were a lot of other motivating factors within the vacants that we're doing because some of them were probate, right? Some of them were tired landlord, right? They were vacant, but when I met the people, they had been rented and the people had moved out and like they had a bad experience with it. um a lot of them were tax sale houses that people bought from the tax sale because they were going to fix them up, and then they got into it and they realized that it was going to be more work than they realized, so they wanted to sell the properties and all that stuff. So it's all those are good factors, but you can't just call people again on an absentee list and just doesn't mean they need to sell it, right? Just means their tax bill is going to somewhere else. I use the two that I use raw is Prop Stream and Deal Machine. Um, Both have really good data. If you're a cold caller, and you're pulling lists, I'd probably go Prop Stream. If I was driving for dollars, I'd definitely go with Deal Machine. Um, Deal Machine, I just did a promotion for them back probably a month ago, I would say, but they just made all of the owner data free. So if you're on Deal Machine, you do not have to skip trace anymore. You just say, you know, get Deal Machine. It's like $100 a month, but when you go into a property, all the phone numbers are there, all the email addresses are there, information's there, which is really cool. So $99 a month, and you don't have to skip trace anything. And I think you can download like 30,000 leads a month out of it, right? For $99. So like that's a super cool price. You can also upload lists to it. So say if you were driving for dollars and you got a uh, low water usage list or something like that, you can, from the city or the county, you can upload to that deal to the Deal Machine and have it tag all the properties when you pull up that list. And then you have all the owner contact information for all those properties for free, right? Instead of skip tracing it. Then if you want to mail out of it, you can send postcards out of it. You can click on the phone numbers in there and dial out of it or whatever. So it's really cool. So I think, that's always the thing in the industry with all those different softwares, because you've got, Freedom Soft and you've got Privy and you've got PropStream and Deal Machine and all that stuff. And when you see one of these companies do a move like that and just start giving away that data for free, I think the rest will follow, right? So I think skip tracing is going to be in trouble. because with skip tracing for years, it's just been a race to the bottom, right? Who can, you'll see people like, oh, I'll give you, skip trace leads for 12 cents a piece, and then it's 10, and then it's 8, and then it's, so everybody's like seeing how low they can go. So, yes, we're actually getting ready, Raul, to do another. I've done tutorials with Deal Machine, and we're getting ready to do. I think the end of this month, we're going to do a driving for dollars challenge, and I did one about 3 months ago, and we'll get people to sign up for it. They can, for the challenge, they can use the free trial period of Deal Machine while they're doing the challenge, and and then we set, like, I think last time it was like whoever loaded up the most properties in Deal Machine during the challenge, we gave a free year subscription to Deal Machine to that person, to the person that won that. So, um, is that the way you're suggesting, or is it better to drive for dollars in person? It's that is you use Deal Machine. You can do it either way, but Deal Machine, you can do it in person. It's a phone app, or they have a phone app and they have a desktop app. But the phone app, you just go out and you just drive. It's got a little map on there, shows where you've been. It will track your routes for you. You find a house, you can like stop and snap a picture of a house, and then it will put the picture on a postcard. You can send the postcard right from your phone. Say start mail, boom, sends the postcard. You can design your own postcards in there. You, like I said, now that all the person's data is in there, so when you pull up to the house and you pull it up on the app, their phone number, their cell number, their email address if you want to shoot them an email or anything like that. Also, though, they have a desktop portal, right, which is all the same stuff, and you can do it online. You can even virtual drive for dollars online, and it integrates with Google Maps and stuff. But you can pull lists on it. If you don't want to drive for dollars, you can pull lists. They've got like a ton of different criterias you can pull, and just mail from their app. So it's a good system. But like I said, there's a ton of good systems out there. It's just what you want to pay for them. So when you get back into it, is that probably what you'll do, or you mean sticky note by putting a note on the door, or the little post-it notes? I did. So what I started doing, I see him talking. I think right now, like, Zach Ginn is pushing the sticky notes really hard, and I know some other people do it too, and they do like door hangers and different things. The sticky note. Um, Again, I was in Detroit, and it's cold and rainy and windy and stuff in Detroit a lot of the times. And I think if I would have put just a post-it note on the door, it would have blown away a lot. So what I did, through a lot of thought, I put a lot of thought into it. I, had a letter that I, just like I said, it stated, I'm a local real estate investor. I do a lot of work in this area. I was, in the neighborhood going to another house, and I saw that yours was empty. Or, if you're thinking about selling it, contact me, whatever. I've got the letter on my website that I give people. And then I would take that letter and I would put it in an envelope, and then I would handwrite on the envelope property owner, and I would underline it. And I had blue painter's tape that you get at, Home Depot or wherever. Um, because I didn't want to, like, I wanted something that would stick to the door. I wanted something that was very visible, and the blue tape was. And I wanted something that wouldn't do damage to to a window or to paint on a door or something like that. So that's why I used the blue painter's tape, right? And it was kind of my trademark thing, and but it worked really well. And I had a lot of people would always say, well, if the house is vacant, who's going to get the note, right? And in my experience from doing this like a lot, like, on thousands of houses, right? Is that somebody's almost always watching a vacant house. It's either a neighbor because, they were friends with the person living there before they moved, right? And they've got their cell numbers or whatever. So it's either a neighbor, a relative, or actually the person that owns the house. And they'll drive by periodically and check on it. All right. So when I would put notes on doors and then maybe, a few days later, come back through a neighborhood that I'd been through already, 90% of the letters had been taken down by somebody, either, by the neighbor or by the owner or by somebody. But that makes it back to the owner most times. And sticky notes are the same way. The thing with the sticky notes and what the strategy is, and it's not a bad strategy, but it's curiosity. It's, they'll put a very short, very vague message on the note. I need to talk to you, and put their phone number. Call me about the house, which is a little bit more of an indicator what they want. But that's the thing, right? They're just trying to get them to bring the phone number on the note. And that's fine. They probably have a better response rate than my letter, but I think what was always good with my letter is when they would call me, or with my door letter, when they call me, it wasn't because they were curious. It was, they would call when they were interested in selling the house, right? They would call me and say, hey, I got your note. Yes, I do want to sell, right? So maybe I didn't get as many calls, but I got a lot. The people that did call me were motivated to sell, which I liked, right? So, so I would, like I said, I drive for dollars all the time, right? And I would pick one city and I would just up and down the streets and stuff, put notes on the door. And then I would just go to the next neighboring city and start there. So when a lot of times when I would get a call, I wouldn't be too far away from, that the house that was calling me. So, usually I'd pull over and I'd take the call, and I'd go through my questions about the house, like first I'd find out what the house was, but then I would say, tell me about the house, it's what kind of shape it's in. And they'd be like, well, it's, it was my dad's house and he passed away and I got it, and he hadn't really done anything to it in a long time. It's kind of outdated and, whatever. And if it sounded like that, right, it sounded like the house needed repairs, it needed work. They really didn't want it. They needed to get rid of it. They had a bad tenant. They were tired of being landlords, whatever. I'd say, hey, I'm not too far away. You want to go meet me over there right now? And I would just, turn around and go meet them and look at the house. And that's how most of my calls went, right? I occasionally get somebody that would say, the neighbor just down the street just sold his, their house for 185. So I want 195 for mine. And, they'd tell me about it. They'd be like, oh, it's, I just remodeled it and I just painted it and put in a new kitchen and all that. And I'd say, well, it sounds like a great house, but, not what I'm looking for. I'm an investor and I'm looking for things that I can fix up and stuff. But, but the strategy works. So, be it sticky notes on the door, post-it notes, letters, whatever you can get on the door that sticks and gets people to call you, go for it, right? You're going to implement the letter strategy coupled with driving for dollars. That's the way to do it, man. Like, so no matter what app you use, and again, I like Deal Machine, but no matter what you're using, or even if you're not using an app at all, right? You're there at the house, put a note on the door, because it's a different mentality, right? So if you send out 1,000 letters to people with vacant houses, and another person goes to 1,000 houses and puts notes on the door, the person that puts notes on the door is going to get a way better response rate, because mentally, to a homeowner, they're like, this person, first of all, they don't know who you were. And there's this note on their door. There's, there's no way they're not going to open that. Right. If somebody comes to your house and puts a note on your door, you're going to open it, right? Property owner, homeowner, right? And it's handwritten, you're going to open the note. So automatically you're going to get a better open rate than just people getting junk mail right in the mail. So then once you open it and it's like, hey, I'm an investor, I came by here. It's a different mentality because this person was at your house. It wasn't just like, they just threw a bunch of mail in the post, the post office and sent it out. They actually drove to your house and left a note for you. So the call rate, the response rate is higher on a note taped to the door. So do it, right? Implement it, drive for dollars, right? And then, you put the note on the door. You can still mail, you can still call, you can still email. Emails, like I'm getting ready to do a class on cold email marketing because I think nobody utilizes that, right? And I've gotten a lot of deals off of that before. So, if you've got a cold email drip campaign, and say you have a list of 500 houses, and you take that list and they're vacant, or they had water shut off or whatever they are, and you put them in the cold email, and you just send out a generic email. I would do it, when I do it, I'd say by city, right? So it's like in the title you can put your Tampa house, right? Your vacant Tampa house, or whatever you want the title to be. And then in the email, you can say, hey, the same thing. Hey, I'm an investor in Tampa. I was over in by your house and notice it was vacant. Are you interested in selling it? And then have your number there. Just a real short email, right? And have a cold email system that just sends those out, so many a day, right? You can't send thousands at a time because it's cold email. You can only send so many a day per email address. But you have 2 or 3 email addresses going, it would just send it out maybe 20 a piece. So it's like 60 emails a day go out, right? Every day, right? And if that's going all the time, people are going to start calling you, right? So all you have to do is just keep feeding new emails into it, and it's just kind of like a machine that just runs all the time for you. Let's see. Well, right now, so like I said, I run the Wholesalers Toolbox for 10 years, and now I'm trying to build this community. So I haven't been wholesaling a lot anywhere, right? If something comes across my desk, I'll still do something because I have buyers buying in Detroit, or I know people down here in Tampa, St. Pete area that do it, but I don't do a ton because I'm busy like making videos and making training and building a community and doing that stuff all the time. So I don't wholesale as much as I did before. So, but right now I might start doing more deals because I'm doing this community and start teaming up with some people and doing some stuff in marketing and things like that. But right now, my goal right now for the next month is just to get this thing up and going. Um, Jared, so you talk about showing HUD. So you're showing HUD so they believe you're doing deals. Is that what you're saying? No, well, Deal Machine doesn't offer an email drip campaign. There's a company. Let me look for it real quick. I talking to somebody that had a cold email business. I don't know what to call it. Cold email company, and he told me the best cold email thing. I was pulling it up right now. Is it's called Smart Leads AI. Copy this, and I'm going to drop it there for you. But he said this was the best cold email marketing system to use. So I'm going to drop that in the chat right there so you can grab it. But Yeah, so check them out, right? And so you set up an email with them, and it can't be like whatever at Gmail. It has to be like a .com or a .net or whatever, like like mine's David, David at wholesalingpartners.com. But you just you set up one. It doesn't have to be your company domain, but you could do something similar if you wanted, right? But you don't want it to be the same domain. um so you set that up. So you get a domain name through like GoDaddy or whatever, and then you go hop over to like Google or wherever, and then you um set up, like you could do like three. I think they suggest you do no more than three emails on a single domain, right? So you get a domain at GoDaddy for $20 or whatever you pay for the domain. Then you go hop over to Google and you set up like three email accounts for that domain. And you can just make up names, John, Judy, and, Ken at, whatever domain you bought. Right. And, and then you get the smart lead, right? And just connect those to smart lead and load up your list, right? And load up your list. And with the cold lead, or the I'm sorry, smart lead AI, um 30 with 30 for $33 a month, you can send 6,000 emails per month. And for 65 a month, you can send 40,000 emails a month. And that's unlike, you can hook up as many emails as you want to it, but those are the maximums you can do. So for $33 a month, you can send 6,000 emails. So what I would do is I would do it like with three domains. I do the $33 a month, do three domains, load up, what did I just say? 6,000 emails. So I would load up 6,000 emails, and I would just let the system run through all of them, right? And then when it ran through all of them, I would delete them, right? You still have the list, but you delete them out of there. And then I would load up new 6,000, let those run, right? And just keep doing that every month, right? Just let it run through 6,000 in a month. Or if you want to do more, you can get more emails, but let it run through them, delete them out of the system, and then load up 6,000 more. Let it go. Um, yeah, I mean, you could do. I mean, if that works for you, showing them the HUD at in-person appointments. Um, I think if you talk, if you know the business, and you're come across as professional, I don't think you need to do that. I don't think. I think if I had somebody come out to me and I was talking to him about selling my house, right? I would judge if I wanted to do business with them on, the words they were saying, and if they seem credible. If I checked them out, I would check them out online, maybe Better Business Bureau. When people used to ask about me, you're like, are you closing deals? I would say, here's the name of my title company, the guy that does all my closings. You can give him a call and ask if you want to check me out or whatever. I think, like, if you like have a bunch of HUDs and you spread them out on the table and you're like, look at all the I'm doing. It like, to me, and maybe it works well for you, maybe it does. I could be totally off, but for me, if somebody did that to me, I'd be like, it seems like they're trying to sell me a little too hard on this, right? If they brought proof, right? Here's my, so. But if it works for you, then do it, man. Um, but I never, I've never had to do that. But again, like, I did have people call my title company. So, but I think it's better when it's coming from another person and not from you. Like, hey, call these people and ask them, right? Don't, I don't have to show you. So, yeah, but in person appointments, Jared, those are the way to go, and because it's, if you're on the phone with somebody and and I know a lot of people virtual wholesale, and if you're virtual wholesaling, you have to close how you can, right? If it were me, when I got to the point of doing a closing or doing a negotiation for a closing, I would do this. I would say, hey, let's hop on a video call so we can look into each other's eyes and talk, right? Because what's the difficult hurdle with the virtual wholesaling is you say, okay, I'd like to make an offer in your house. So, I'll give you, $200 and, $12,000 for your house. And they go, okay, let me think about it. And, and then I'll call you back if I'm ready, and then they get off the phone and then you're done, right? Then you're doing this thing like where you're trying to get them back on the phone. Unless you're a really strong closer, they're gone, right? So, but the thing about in-person closing is like they can't do that to you. They can't go, okay, well, I'll call you back. You're there. So if they're hesitant, you just say, what's the hurdle, right? Where are we at, right? This is my number. What's your number, right? And they'll tell you their number, and then you work the difference, right? And then you, like, if you're sitting at the table for them, you can go, okay, it needs a driveway. It's going to cost me 10 grand. It needs a roof. That's going to cost me 4,500. I mean, like you can go through the numbers, right? I understand that you want 212, but I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do that. Right. Does that make sense? And you're shaking your head and they're like, yeah, it does, right. And you can work through that and get a deal. On the phone's a lot harder. Right. Hey, Ralph, I look forward to joining. Go with that link. I don't know if you're talking about my community now or the smart lead, but either. Like, I look forward to you joining both of them. But jump on my community, you guys. Jump on, scroll back up there. My wholesalingpartners.com and join. I'd like to have all you guys there. I appreciate you getting on here with me and talking to me in the middle of the night, 4 in the, well, if you guys are in California, it's not 1 in the morning. I guess it's early. What is it? What, 10? Awesome, Jared. Good. Yeah, I've got about 250, 230, 240 people, 240 people in there, somewhere about that. And I've got a guy that I know has a marketing company with a bunch of VAs, and he's going to get on Facebook and help me promote it in all the real estate groups and everything. So that should grow pretty quickly. And that's the exciting part. It's like the more people we get on there, the more partners it is, the more people that, other people have to team up with, and it'll get very active very quickly. So, but yeah, anybody listening, hop on there and create a free account. Nothing to buy. Just get on there and network and do deals, right? I'm getting little beeps, so I know somebody's joining. Yeah, there you are, Joseph joined. Is that you, Jared? Do you go by Joseph? Let's see. I'm going to pull it up here. Joseph. There you are. So yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it's always been frustrating for me too, because I see people buy courses, I sell courses. I mean, I promote them, but I see people buy them and don't do anything with them, and that's frustrating for me, right? It's the knowledge is there. I'm sending out one right now. It's for to be a private money broker, and it's a great course. I've been through it. It probably has more good information than 99% of the courses out there, and a lot of people sign up for it, but very few take action. And yeah, 10:06 out there. Well, this is I'm not on every day. I just thought I'd hop on here and see if anybody got on here. Maybe I'll do this every night. Maybe I'll make my own late night wholesaling podcast, right? And to see who listens in the middle of the night. Have you ever listened to Coast to Coast AM with George Nori and stuff? I always like that show, the AM show. I talk about like UFOs and, Bigfoot and weird shit. So maybe I'll just get on and do that every night. But anyway, people buy a lot of courses and just don't act on them. And that bothers me, right? Because I know that there's money to be made. I used to be in the mortgage business, right? When I was young, I sold industrial equipment. I sold forklifts and construction equipment and stuff. Then I got real estate. I was a licensed realtor in Michigan and in Florida. Then I became a mortgage broker in Florida, right? And then I got into, you know, rehabbing and wholesaling and all that stuff. But I was in mortgage and made a lot of money in mortgage. I made a lot of money lending money to people. And so I know the private money broker thing. I know it's a real gig, right? The guy Lee Arnold, he owns a company called Kogo Capital, and they lend out money for rehab financing, right? So the program is called Capital Syndicate. They sell this course and they train people to be a private money broker with hopes that those people will take all the information that they give them and go out and find people that want to borrow money to fix and flip, so they can lend money and make money on it, right? And so it's a good deal. And it's, they're doing it for purposes because they need more investors to come to them for money. But like with anything, probably 10% of the people do it, right? 5 to 10, But I see the same thing in like real estate, like with real estate agents, only probably 5 to 10% of people that become realtors make a decent living at being a realtor, right? Most people have a real estate license, sell maybe two houses a year, right? There's only 5 to 10% that actually sell enough to make a good living from it. All right, Raul, that's a deal. If I start my own late night wholesaling podcast, I'll expect you to be here to watch it. All right. I just thought I'd get on and rattle some stuff off for a few minutes, and now I've been on an hour. Hey, no problem. I appreciate it. Yeah, maybe I'll do more of this. Who knows? So, yeah, I don't mind. That's what with the community, with wholesaling partners, with the wholesalers toolbox and all that. I just try to give out good content. I mean, that's my deal. That's my thing. I try to make a few bucks, but I'd probably make more if I made a course and sold it for a lot of money, like a lot of these guys do. But like I said, the information's out there, right? If I do a course, I'd sell it for $40 or something, right? To make it affordable for everybody, because it's the people that can't afford it that need it the most. And some of these guys, with what they sell, they charge. I just had a guy tell me the other day, somebody I don't know, but we're talking on Facebook, and he was doing like a free master class for something. And I said, what's the upsell? Because, I knew like the guy was selling something, right? He's like putting all these ads on Facebook for it. I said, so that's like masterclass. I said, what's the upsell? And he's like, well, I got like a $97 course. And then I have like a $297 course. And then I have like I forget, it was something crazy high, like a $7,500 course, and then like a $12,000 course. And I was like, yeah, this guy. I was like, what the frick are you selling for 12 grand, right? He's like, how to invest in real estate. People been investing in real estate for, what, in America since, 1776 or before, right? And there's not anything that's top secret that you should be charging 12 grand for, unless, again, like if you had some kind of like intense coaching where like they did deals with you and they were closing deals and you made money, and they guaranteed that, then okay, right? I get that. But just charging somebody 12 grand for some kind of course, or 8 grand or whatever, that's without like a lot of good stuff that's going to make you a ton of money. I don't get it. And I couldn't do it, right? I rather help more people and make less money than, just a few and try to hit a grand slam on them. So that's just me, though. I don't mind people making money. All right. We still got 4 people on here. Who's on here is not talking? I know somebody's on here not talking. Again, they're probably on TikTok, or not TikTok, but Twitter or X now. I don't know why Elon. I don't know why Elon changed the name of Twitter, because like before, when somebody would tweet, like that became like its own word, right? But now what do you call it when somebody like puts a post on X? I don't know what to call it anymore. I still call it a tweet. But anyway, broadcasting on Twitter. That I did. 20, say that's a lot of money. 25 grand for mentorship. Now again, if you got the 25 grand and they like guarantee results, okay, right? If I like I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna do this, got a lot of money. Say I got 500 grand sitting in the bank, or $1,000,000 sitting in the bank, and I want to go spend 25 grand. That's fine, right? But I didn't get rich by being dumb, so I still want results, right? But I walk a fine line with this, because I do sell product, right? But I've seen there's so many coaches that sell shit for 25 grand, and they do this hard sell thing where they'll have this team of salespeople. So they'll get you to come to a seminar, right? And then, they get your name, and, they sell you get you all pumped up, right? If you've ever been to like a success seminar, and they get, oh, you're going to be a millionaire, I'll have this. And then so we've got product on the back table where like we got you go back there and buy shit or whatever, or go see our people back there to sign up for a mentorship or whatever. And then they hard sell into like a $25,000 thing, and like hard sell, like, who do I don't have 25 grand. Well, who do you know that has a credit card that will let you put it on their credit card, right? And they do shit like that, right? And it's crazy. It's, how hard they push. So I would be very, just me personally, I would do so much research before I gave somebody that kind of money. I was talking about this the other day somewhere, and I said, people need to dig past the reviews on the sales page of the thing that, you're thinking about buying, right? So you're like, oh, I want to buy, so and so's course. So you go to their website and you see all the hand-picked reviews that they put on your website, right? Or they put on their website, or maybe made up, right? It's their website. I'm not saying people are dishonest, but people are dishonest, right? So you go on the website and it's like all these good reviews, right? 5 stars. And you're like, oh, all right. Right? but but some people, that's it. They see that and they're like, boom, I'll buy it. And, like I said earlier, go to the Better Business Bureau, right? Look them up. Are there a lot of complaints about them there, right? Do due diligence, like Google them and go past the first page, right? Because the first page of Google is going to be all their affiliates selling their product, right? So every blog you go to and every video you watch is somebody, that's saying something positive, is probably somebody that's an affiliate for them. So they're going to say good things, right? So you need to dig past that. You need to go click on page 3 and 4 of search results and see if there's anybody saying anything negative. Now, just because there's some people saying negative doesn't mean it's necessarily a bad thing, because some people will buy a course and then not do it. And then, because they want to get their money back, they start saying bad things about it. So, but talk to people that have done it, right? Say, hey, I need to talk to actual students that paid you 25 grand. I'm looking at Jubilee, right? Yeah, it's way too much. But talk to people that have done it, right? Say, hey, I'm really thinking about buying your course, but I need to talk to actual students, and like more than one, right? And get them to give you names. If they don't give you names, then they're probably trying to hide something, right? If they do give you names and you call the people, really grill them, right? Because people will be honest, right? They might be buddies with the person, or think that they're like the star student or something. But if you really start pressing them and say, hey, did how easy was this, right? What did you have to do? How much time did you put in it? How much beyond the 25 grand that you paid them? What did you have to put into marketing, right? Was it just 25 grand, or was it 25 grand plus $10,000 in marketing? Because if you tap yourself out of 25 grand and buy the course, and then you get in there and they go, oh, by the way, you need a phone dialer, and you got to buy leads, and you got to do this, and you're like, oh, well, I just gave you all the money that I had. Then then you're out 25 grand, because there's no way you can like fulfill the requirements of the course. So yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. I've spent when I started my Wholesalers Toolbox website, I wanted things to rank well on Google, and I spent $1,500 for a course that taught me how to rank well on Google. And it was very reputable, and I checked it out extremely. And I didn't just, see it one day and go, I'm buying that. I thought about it for probably a month, right? And would research it and look at it and go back and look at it some more and stuff like that. But I found value in it. I found value in all the free stuff that they were putting out, and, and the, what people were saying about the paid course. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger. But I think 1,500 was probably most I ever spent on a course. But it was worthwhile to me. So, Jubilee, you ever what have you bought a course? What if you didn't go for the $25,000 one? Have you bought a $500 one, or a $100 one? That seems to be the sweet spot. Like a lot of these coaches, they like to just, pump out the $100, because like 90, $97. People will spend $97 on a course, but it's when you get up to the 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. That's a lot. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here if nobody's got any questions or anything like that. 1,400, and she was actually helpful. Did she help you close it? Did you get a deal done? That's what I want to know. 1,400 isn't bad if you did a deal and you made at least 1,400 on that deal. I'm glad you caught it too. Yeah, I'm glad, had a couple people on here, but I'm glad I did this. Not finished, just finished it. All right. Well, okay, so there you go, Jubilee. It is the follow through, right? A lot of people buy courses. Now the hard part, right? You've got the information. Now it's doing it. Were you on here, Jubilee, when I started this and we were talking about wholesaling partners? Did you sign up for wholesaling partners yet? Because what you need to do, if it's a wholesaling course or if it's wholesaling that you want to do, is find somebody that even if they're just an accountability partner that you can team up with. Because if you don't have somebody you're accountable to, all right, cool. I'm glad you're on there. If you don't have somebody you're accountable to, then there's a good chance that you'll just give up on it, right? Because life gets in the way. You say, oh, I'll get to it next week, or I'll get, I just gotta, get away for the kids, to get back to school or to get out of school or for this to happen or that happen. And then you never get to it. So having somebody, that you either hop on a call with once a week or you go have coffee with once a week, even if it's just that, because you're like, oh, I don't want to go back and tell them I haven't done anything yet. I need to do something. I need to take some action. What's even better is if you find somebody else that's either brand new or experienced and work with them and say, you know what, let's do this together, right? So this week we'll both make 100 phone calls, or we'll go out and we'll drive for dollars for so many hours, or you split up the tasks or whatever. But doing something like that makes it so much more likely that you'll succeed. If you're coming from a background that's not real estate, that's not sales, that's not marketing, right? You've got to have some people, on your team, not a paid team, but just like a support team, right? So, all right, guys, I'm gonna go. Every time I say I'm gonna go, I saw something in there, but I want to keep talking. She's still keeping in touch with me. You have an REA partner, which is awesome. Yeah, great. Get her to have her join the group too, right? And maybe we can find some more people in your area. Maybe we can do a little wholesaling meetup group or something like that. Where are you at, Jubilee? I know, is Jubilee your real name or is that your YouTube name? I've got, what I did on the, Idaho. All right, there you go. Oh, yeah, up in Boise's a good market. Jubilee's your real name. All right, cool. Yeah, Idaho's good. It's been popular up there. A lot of people moving that way. So what I was going to say real quick, in the community in wholesaling partners in the state groups, I've set it so if you're in a state group, when you can go in there and create a post or create events or whatever. But I've left it so you can create a event either online or a local event, right? So if you're in Boise, let's say you're in Boise, Idaho, and you want to do a virtual Zoom meeting every week, an accountability Zoom meeting, right? You can do that in there, and just when you set the event, you put what the day and the time and all that, and you just drop your Zoom link in there and set it, and then people can register for it and do it. Or if you wanted to do a local event at a I don't know if you have Panera out there, but at a coffee house or whatever, you can set it and say We're going to do it every, every Thursday evening at 6, the first Monday of every month, or first Thursday of every month at Panera, and do that and set it in there. So, but that when the community gets going, I think there'll be a lot of things like that going on where you can join events and meet people and do a lot of fun stuff. So you guys, I will see you all in the community, all in Wholesaling Partners. I'm doing tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. I am doing a onboarding call. It's in the events calendar. You can register for it. And I'm going to go through the community, like through the whole thing, and show you how you should set up your profile, how you can, put a little ad to partner up with people and do all that stuff. So it'll be a good time. If you can't make it at 1:00 for it, there will be a replay in the replay room. It's the REI training replay, I believe it's called. So, all right. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a good night. And I will talk to you all in the community soon.